What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to the podcast. I am psyched for this one. I'm going to share with you 3 cognitive biases that can make you millions of dollars in your business. I love cognitive biases. I love psychological phenomenon and principles and concepts because when you understand how the human brain works, you can use that information to influence the behaviors of other people in alignment with your goals. And at the end of the day, that's really what marketing is. Like, your goal when you market a product is to try and get a group of people to take an action in alignment with your goal, which is to buy your product, right? So we need to become masters of psychology if you want to build a big, awesome business. So the very first cognitive bias is something called the IKEA Effect. So the IKEA Effect is very simple. We enjoy things or we value things more highly when we co-created them. So, IKEA, they have some cool stylish furniture, but their furniture is not of the highest quality. It's made with like balsa wood. It's not like, redwood, walnut and gorgeous mahogany, right? It's not the highest quality stuff. And yet everybody loves going to IKEA. Everybody loves shopping there. They might not love the next part, but by the end of it, they end up having an attachment to the thing that they create. The next part, and what makes them kind of unique, is that this is a furniture store where you have to go assemble your own goddamn furniture. You go buy that bookshelf, you come back with these weird ass instructions with this little weird man on it and these tools that don't really seem like they're going to work. And you put this thing together. Maybe you torpedoed your relationship with your spouse in the process because, good God, never put together an IKEA bookshelf with a loved one. But at the end of this, it's now your IKEA bookshelf. You have an attachment to that thing and you care about, you have a story to share whenever you look at it and you put your books on it. Like, it means more to you than if you just bought it ready-made off of Target, right? And so the way that we can implement or execute this in our business is to bring our customers into the process of creating the product. Bring them in so that they feel like they're co-creating it with you. You do this through behind the scenes content saying, hey, we're working on this. For example, my buddy Moldy and I, we're working on this thing called the Story Bible. And we have this series of videos planned where we're going to show you how we actually created this. All the calls that we've had over the last 2 years, or maybe like a year, sitting down and going through like the ideation process, the branding process, the production process, the prototyping process, the marketing process, all of that stuff. So you can see behind the scenes as we're creating it. And then we're going to come to you for feedback and say, what do you like? What don't you like? Right? And we're going to use that in the creation process. So I've also used this to really great effect in the past with investors. So for our real estate private equity firm, one of the things that worked really well for us is the simple idea that if you want advice, ask for money. If you want money, ask for advice. So here's how that broke down. So in this real estate private equity fund, we would raise millions of dollars from private investors to then go acquire real estate, right? Now, if you just go to your brother and you say, hey, would you like to put in $100,000 into this deal? He's going to give you advice and he's going to tell you all the reasons why that's a dumb idea. All right. So you go to him asking for money and you end leaving with advice, not what you wanted, right? But if you go to your brother and instead of asking him for money, you say, hey, can I get your feedback on something? Can I get your advice on how we should think about this deal, how you structure this deal, or what you like about this deal, what you would change about this deal? Now you have a co-creator, you have a co-collaborator. So now he's looking at it through a different lens entirely. And he's saying, oh, I like this aspect and this aspect, but if you were to change this and this, that would be even better. You're like, cool. Then you're more likely to actually get him to invest in it because now he feels a part of the process of having created the product. So that is the IKEA effect. Number 2, the second cognitive bias is something called the Pratfall Effect. This one's pretty funny. So researchers, I think it was back in the 60s, they had people listening to a person on a tape talk or on a video. And then at the end of it, they would rate that person how much they liked them, right? Well, they did two different segments here. One where they just listened to they just watched the person talking, and they're like, "Did you like this person or not?" He's a pretty competent person. They're talking competently about the topic that they're discussing, right? But at the end for the other group, something they just did one little thing, very little, which is at the end of the person's speech, at when done talking, this very competent person then spilled some coffee on themselves. That's it. Like at the very end, they just spilled some coffee on themselves. And so then the two groups are asked to rate the person's perceived likability. How much do you like this person? And what they found is that the guy who spilled the coffee on themselves, they liked more. No difference, fundamentally, equal competency, just Competency plus a flaw made them like him more. So you can use this to your advantage. For example, James Bond is a great example. James Bond is very competent, yet he gets his ass kicked all the time. Makes him likable, right? Like, he doesn't always, he always gets the girl and he always gets his guy at the end. So maybe not the best example, but he doesn't just like sail through it, right? He has his flaws that crop up throughout. So the way that you use this is you be authentic, you be a human, you show your flaws, your quirks, your foibles. As you're creating your content, you're showing people the behind the scenes of what you do in your business. Show the unique ways that you are a flawed individual. Like for me, I talk a lot about my ADHD. I talk a lot about having built successful businesses, but I also talk about the struggles that I've had with ADHD over the past, because I know that flaw humanizes me. That's something that a lot of you guys struggle with as well, and you can connect with it much more than the successful businesses. You might want to have the successful businesses, you just don't maybe have them yet, but you can connect with this flaw. And so that's how we build connection. But now here's the caveat here. This only works if you're perceived as competent. So you need to establish competence first and then the flaw. Don't lead with the flaw and then try to establish competence. It won't work, right? So that's the second cognitive bias. The third one is something called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Another phrase for this is just the frequency illusion. So when you see a thing, you tend to see that thing a whole lot more afterwards, right? It's like the reticular activating system. You bought the car, or you got it in your mind that you wanted to go buy that red Honda Civic. Next thing you know, you look around, everybody's driving a red Honda Civic. You're like, God damn, like, when did all these red Honda Civics come around? Like, you never noticed them before because you weren't tuned into seeing them. The way that you can use this to your benefit as an entrepreneur is through retargeting your audience. So if somebody comes to your website, you should have a pixel set up on Google Analytics or on Meta, so that you have the ability to retarget that individual and send them short form content through the ads, retarget them with your YouTube videos. That way, if somebody comes to your website and they don't purchase something, that they go back to their Instagram or their Facebook, suddenly they're getting hit with your content. They might have just discovered you and went and looked because they're interested, and next thing they know, they see you everywhere. Right? That builds authority, it builds credibility, and it increases the likelihood that they're going to do business with you. Because at the end of the day, it's really like, with enough exposure, people will eventually buy from you. If they're in the right target, you have a product that can solve their problem. With enough exposure, like, that'll solve 90% of your sales issues. It's really just getting in front of the person enough times. So those are 3 cognitive biases you can use right now to go scale a big, bad, awesome business: the IKEA Effect, the Pratfall Effect, and the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Let me know down in the comments which one did you like the most. And while you're down there, go ahead and just click that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.